Adam Bierman Breathing with Bierman, Loren Lepre. How long has it been, Loren?
It's only a month.
Only a month?
Yeah.
Time's been gone. My life has been hectic. I'm running for a local office. I'm here. I'm there. Time gets, continuum. I don't smoke marijuana, but it's kind of like that time-space continuum gets distorted and everything. But Loren has brought the A-team again, and I'll let you introduce them again.
Yes. Glad to be back here at Princeton Television with the great Adam Bierman. And this time...
you called me a dork and a troll earlier.
Was this
in the parking lot?
Yeah, I did. We were also saying Adam looked like a little boy walking away from him. He had like his book bag. He looks like a little boy.
Is that why you were laughing?
Yeah,
okay.
we were.
Okay. I have no self-image. It's okay.
It really did. You look like a student. It was great.
I'm going to school.
Yeah. But we're back by popular demand. The last show it got 1 million hits.
And we're not on Facebook Live now, so
we're not on Facebook Live right now, unfortunately. So you're probably going to be watching this on Vimeo and YouTube.
Zuckerberg.
But we're calling it. Hey, like the Dark Military meets Terrifier. We are here. We are your Jedi Council this round. We are really proud to welcome back David Howard Thornton, the frickin' Art the Clown himself. But we also have the great Damien, the director.
Leone.
Yeah, see, notice I skipped over his last name. So
I'm not saying that you're a Spielberg yet, but the deference you're getting from the clown man over here, it's amazing. I'm going to say that.
That means a lot, man.
He's not that scary right now. He's a great actor.
He can turn it on pretty fast.
But I've actually not seen too many videos of you guys together, so I'm really happy to bring this to the horror movie community. But can we just start in a different direction? How long has Art been around? And give the origin of him.
Sure. He's been around for quite some time, actually. He's been, I'd say, 2005, 6, around there. So I had made my first short film back then. It's called The Ninth Circle. And this was going to be my calling card, get people to recognize me as a director, my special effects skills. So just wanted to throw as many things in there as possible and hope something stuck. So there were monsters, demons, witches, right? Every trope you could imagine. And I always had this idea with a clown that I felt like there was something I could do with a clown that I hadn't really seen before. So the idea just came, it just started with, I wanted a clown to terrorize this woman on a city bus in the middle of the night. Okay, she's all alone, comes to a stop. All of a sudden, it's not even Halloween. This clown just gets on, sits across from her, and just starts toying with her. And that was it. So I just threw it into this short film, and he's really just this supporting character that abducts this woman and delivers her to the hands of this satanic cult of demons. And that was it. And the look of him, I knew if I'm going to do a clown, don't do anything even remotely close to Pennywise, because he's the king. There's no point in stepping on his toes. So if you notice, big toes. So if you go tit for tat, I mean, they're pretty opposite. One's very colorful, one's black and white. One uses weapons, one doesn't. One has hair, one doesn't.
One speaks, one doesn't.
Down the line. So that was it. So I made the short film, started showing people, and that's all people kept talking about was, yeah, it's good, it's really cool, the creatures look cool, but that clown, man, he's awesome. You got something there. I wish he was in it more. I wish you'd elaborate more on his character, etc. And that was it. So listening to feedback is so important. I still do it to this day. So I'll read every comment, no matter on any video, anything. I'm always curious to see what people are saying, what they like, what they don't like. And then that was it. And then the logical step was to make a short film based solely around him, and that was my short film Terrifier. And I made that in around 2000. I lose track of time, obviously, but I think it was around 2008, 10 to 11 maybe. And that's it. It kept growing from there. And then that turned into All Hallows Eve, where my short films were incorporated into a horror anthology like Creepshow. But I always wanted, my goal was always to turn Terrifier the short into Terrifier the feature. It was just a really long road to get there.
And now you've arrived.
We've arrived, finally.
And you're both doing the convention circuit. That's great.
Yeah.
That's your MO now for both of you right now?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. It's surreal, man. We're so grateful for it. It's meeting some really cool people, and the fans are unbelievable, so supportive. welcoming, and it's wild because that, especially like when I see little kids coming up to us at conventions, like
Little
that,
kids.
little kids.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite thing because that was me. Like my mother used to take me to these conventions when I was 10 years old, 12 years old. You know, I went to a Chiller. I used to go to the Chiller convention in Jersey, and I got to meet my hero Tom Savini there for the first time, and Kane Hodder. And now I see little kids coming up to us and admiring us and saying, "Oh, we love your movie, we love this character," or their mother will talk for them and say, "Oh, he's such a big fan, he watches this all the time." And it's just, I see.
Did you ever stop for a second and be like, why is this parent
Nope.
letting?
No, I give them a high five.
They're not, the kids aren't scared. They see it. They like it.
Like at recess, they're not
Because it's
taking
so-
girls upside down and like.
They're even dressing up. There was like this little girl there back when we were at New Jersey Horror Con. She was dressed up as Art. It was so adorable. And she had her hair in the back, and I was like, "Oh, this is so cute." She was so excited. She had her picture made.
I think her
with me.
picture might be appearing.
There you go.
might be.
See,
Yeah.
specifically to come meet us. I mean, that's so incredible. It's so incredible.
so cool.
I mean, sometimes I ask the parents, I say, "Did you let them watch the entire movie?" They're like, "No, we had to fast forward through a couple scenes." I'm like, "Okay."
I mean, I've had some that like they've brought their artwork that they drew themselves, and they're like, "This is something I made for you."
Right,
and I
right.
was like, "Oh my gosh, you've
Inspiration.
seen this?"
Inspiration.
or they're just fascinated and obsessed with him as an image.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the parents haven't let them see the movie yet, but they just love him.
It is a great image.
Yeah.
And also the
Thank
way
you,
you play it, though, the way you move your body and everything.
Well, he's a clown.
Yeah, but still, for some reason, it's, that
Well-
the one scene, one little look says 1,000 words.
Yeah.
There's something lurking beneath
That's
its
a-
nasty.
Oh, definitely.
That's a testament to this guy's acting
Yeah,
abilities
yeah.
for
Right.
real.
A nerdy kid from Alabama, and he can be terrifying. I believe I can dig it.
Well, I'm sure you guys spoke about his audition on the
Yes.
first one,
Yeah,
right? Which is
first.
pretty amazing. I mean, we knew instantly this was going to be the guy, unless he screwed it up royally, or turned out to be a real psychopath or something. But
Oh, phew.
Just don't look in the trailer.
yeah,
It's like,
So when you were young,
there's so
you're
many assistants.
like me. You grew up watching horror movies.
Absolutely.
And so what was like your influence? How'd you know when you were young that you wanted to take a shot at this for?
well, I say this all the time, but my mother named me after The Omen.
There you go.
That's true. So my mother's a huge horror fan. And just like these little kids that come up to us, like I was watching horror movies. She would let me watch horror movies at a very young age.
The Lee Remick
Thankfully.
Omen, their first Omen.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean that just grew. So I was obsessed with the slashers, especially. They were like my heroes when I was 7. Jason, Freddy, Michael Myers, the usual suspects.
But they didn't scare you. You just liked it. You thought
They
it was-
didn't scare me, no. But I was scared of some horror movies. Like The Exorcist scared me. Zombies scared me. Not that I was too afraid to watch them, but it's not like I was all tough and everything. Like they definitely affected me. Some horror movies, but eventually, the Friday the 13th Part 6, that VHS tape had the preview to Tom Savini's Scream Greats.
Yes.
Okay, and the video store that I always went to actually had it. So I was like, that was the first time I was like, oh my God, someone making the monsters. Like, this is what goes on. And it was just fascinating to me. And I was always artistic. I drew. That's how I started getting into art in this world of special effects. But anyway, that movie Scream Greats introduced me to the world of special makeup effects. And then when I was around 12, I actually started practicing and buying my first makeup kit and testing out blood pumps behind weapons and seeing, how that all worked. And it was amazing. And it grew from there, me getting into films. Like, it started with the effects, and then we got my buddy's father's camcorder, and we would shoot the effects, because a lot of them, the illusions are made for film. You have to cut and everything in order for it to work. So it starts there, and then you start building stories around these effects. And then then I got interested in the entire world of filmmaking as a whole. So that's where it all started.
How was it? I mean, remember the last time David was here? He was. How hard was it to really get the film sold and out in the market?
Oh, very, very.
Yeah.
It took probably over a year.
What were you getting when you pitch a film like that? Like, because nothing's. It's always like ice skating uphill. It's always like nothing's easy.
It's brutal. It's very discouraging. Sometimes you just don't hear from people. Sometimes a few people liked it, but they had problems with the gore. Like they were unsure about that. Like this one company, we came so close to signing a deal with them, but they wanted to have the authority to cut the movie if need be on some distribution levels or whatever. And I was like, we're not doing that. We're not. This movie is the gore is a character in and of itself. It's almost a
selling
star
point,
of the
too.
movie. It is a selling point for sure. So I stuck to my guns. I mean, we were so close to going self-distribution after a whole year of searching and talking to distributors. I was like, this is insane. It's ridiculous. Let's just put it out, and hopefully, we'll find an audience, and that's it. If if it speaks to people, people are gonna, they're gonna come around. But it led us to Dread Central. So I had known Steve Barton, who is the founder of Dread Central, and I was just looking for him because on Rob Zombie's 31, I have that DVD, and he's actually on the back. Like, they used one of his quotes of saying, like, kick-ass movie or whatever. So I was like, oh, maybe I could get Steve to, if he likes the movie, maybe he can get some press for us and say something nice about it, whatever. So I just dug up his email address, sent him the movie, and then he came right back to me like a day later and was like, oh, my God. He's like, what are you doing with this movie? Does anybody have this? Like, who's seen this? Like,
oh,
did
wow.
pick
That
it
must
up?
have bowled you over, like, all this work.
And
This is an email to an old friend.
Right, it was just that. He was just an acquaintance. It wasn't even a friend of mine. He was like a friend of a friend at that point. And I was like, no, we're nothing's going on. We're going to do self-distribution. He's like, I just hooked up with this label, and they're doing horror movies, and don't do anything. He's like, I'm going to talk to them, I'm going to show it to them. He's like, I got to put this movie out. We have to do it. He's like, people need to see this. And that's really how it happened. It was really like Steve's passion really, reinvigorated me.
Very Godfather.
Yeah.
They put out the Kane Hodder documentary.
Yeah, absolutely,
that
which is fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
So great. And we've met Kane many times now, and he's just the coolest.
Kane's somewhere going to be popping up, maybe in a picture or two pretty soon enough. But
Kane's great.
Oh man, he's the coolest.
Love you, Kane.
Yeah, when Kane met art. How do those guys feel? Like those higher up, those icons when you hear like, hey, you're one of us now, right?
It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Like the last convention, Ari was there, original Jason, and he's like, they come to his people came to my table like,
the original
Ari?
Jason?
Yeah. Ari's like,
There's Kane.
Oh,
yeah, there we go. But they're like, hey, Ari wants to meet you. And I'm like, what? He's like, I want to meet him.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, he's like, dude, I love your films. Like, thank you for bringing slashers back. I'm like, oh, thank you for making slashers.
Yeah.
Do your thing. And like, no, thank you. So it's kind of surreal being on that level with people now that I grew up watching and respecting for most of my life. So it's so
The part of the cultural fabric too, Jason, all that people know about. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. It's just like it feels like I'm being like kind of like I'm like the new baby in that genre, and they're like, hey, welcome.
And you're growing.
That's
Welcome
awesome.
to the family
Being
now.
groomed.
I'm like, oh, thank you.
That leading into the next film, right?
Terrifier 2.
It's coming. Terrifier 2's coming.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Someone's excited.
Gotta keep going.
We're still coming up with fun things to do with some of the things we've already written from this. So it's just like, just the other day we were chatting, like, oh, why don't we do this for this scene? Like, oh, yes.
That's great.
It's like, we're probably going to cross a few lines here, but yeah, let's do it.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? You gotta keep topping yourself and pushing the.
You got to push the envelope more than last time, and I mean, you already set yourself a good bar with that
We
one.
set the bar.
What's it going to be a continuing story then, right?
Direct continuation.
Right,
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we don't want to pull back from what we've already done. I think that would just be a disservice to the character and to the fans as well, because they now expect what we did in Terrifier to keep going like that.
Yeah.
We don't want to pull back on the violence and the gore and all
That's
that.
what made you.
Yeah.
There's no. It'd be dumb not to go corporate or something.
You can't play it safe in this genre, and that's why I think that's a big problem with so many of them now. Is they do try to play it safe, and like this is the one genre you're really supposed to take those risks with, and we do.
Yeah, we do. We knew that going into the first one. Obviously, we knew. I knew if you're going up against the big boys, which you are, with no matter what the budget is of the movie, you're like, why is somebody going to watch your movie over this Hollywood slasher? Mm-hmm. And I knew showing things in our movie that you're never going to see in the movie theaters is gonna set it apart. So I knew that hacksaw scene. We knew going in, like my producer Phil was the one who actually helped me build the effects throughout the entire period of pre-production, because it took forever. It took us months. It was just me building everything. But we took the most time prepping the hacksaw scene, because we knew that was going to be the showstopper. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you just know going in. I've never seen that before. Maybe it's happened in other movies. I've never seen it, but
curious. So you hired the actress for that part.
Yes.
Does she have a lot of questions about that part?
Catherine Corcoran, who plays, is like one of the coolest people in the world. She had, obviously, I met her. She knew about it. She read the script, and then after I cast her, I believe I'd already cast her, and then I met her in where she lives to have a cup of coffee and really talk about that scene, because that's going to be a big deal, and exactly how it's going to be shot and how it's going to be executed. Honestly, her primary concern was like, if we're going to do this, let's do it. Let's make it the coolest thing you've ever seen. Let's not hold anything back, and let's just go for it, because we all knew this was going to be the scene people talk about after they watch this movie. And that's the most important thing, was getting an actress who felt the same way that I felt. And there's zero concerns. There's no problems with that. She was just the greatest trooper. It's one of the, I mean, it was the most intense thing to shoot just because of the safety aspect. You want to make sure, obviously, she's safe first and foremost. And we knew it was important. There's a lot of effects going on.
Right, it was cold, right?
Yeah, it was
Very cold that night.
Yeah, it
like
was
20-something degrees.
Oh, I remember he was talking about that. Right.
Yeah.
It was at night too.
Yeah.
Everything had to be at night.
Middle of the night, half abandoned place. Might as well have been outside. I mean, there's no, it was insane.
No one was comfortable that night.
Yeah.
Mentally or physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when films do become. I'm not saying, of course, like a war, because people actually die, but you have to have mental tenacity too.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it right. You can't say, you just can't cut corners and go and get warm. You have to. If it's not right, you got to keep filming. You got to shoot it again.
And there's no prep. It's like, this is the day. It's like, we got to do this now. Like, we really have to just shackle her up and pray to God this thing. I mean, we tested out the contraption that we built with much heavier people, and it worked, and it held them up.
That had to have taken a few hours to do, right? That scene?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
It took the entire day. Was just that.
So
scene.
when you had
2 days, actually,
when you had her
filmed that
upside
entire
down
scene.
between takes, you probably had to let her down, right? So she's not
Instantly. She could only hang upside down for about 45
Yeah,
seconds.
we had an
tops,
apparatus that was built that they could swing her up on.
That's
so she'd lie down,
awesome.
and then it's
Awesome.
like,
Okay.
Right out of frame. It was, the PAs with towels and just people coming in, just like, it was like a well-oiled machine. Knew exactly that woman
That's
came
awesome.
to just come in, get her up, who brought in this piece to sit her up on, everything like that.
Because we only filmed for 30 seconds at a time, so she wasn't hanging upside down too long.
But there's things you don't expect to happen, like you don't anticipate. Like, so one shot, we have a fake hacksaw pressed up against her chest with blood pumps hidden behind it, spraying out blood, and you don't realize it's going down, running down and going up her nose, like while she's upside down, and that becomes a issue. It's crazy, but and you just got to keep moving fast.
Their family actually watched that at the premiere?
I don't think.
Her boyfriend was there.
Well, that I can see that.
I don't know. I feel like her family hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or maybe,
Maybe they gave a warning. She gave a warning on that
Maybe
one.
they fast forward through this.
Not everyone's just like.
I don't even think my dad's seen the film yet.
That's crazy.
My sister has.
My dad would be like, whatever you kids want to do, but it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
Right? He hopes it does well. And
Well, the funny thing is, my sister
bless.
lives in this group home in Alabama, and it's run by a very, very Christian woman. So it's a very Christian group home, and they all watched it one night. She calls me up, was like, wow.
Satan was there.
Yeah. She was like, that was, wow. Wow. I'm like,
She was being polite.
She's like, yeah, you're pretty much like you were when you were a kid. I'm like, yeah.
She want to do an exorcism when you come down again.
Oh, yeah.
You've been contacted by other film directors about being used in?
Just no one huge yet. Well, knock on wood one day.
We're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're going to get there.
Yeah, I actually got contacted by someone last night that's got a script they want me to possibly film this summer, so we'll see. It depends what they can work out with SAG, and because I think it's not SAG, so they have to see what can work there. But yeah, I'm hoping to get some of those offers coming in. I would really like that. That would be great.
Anything for your voice yet?
Oh no, nothing yet. I'm waiting for all that kind of stuff too. It's just like, I guess that's all going to depend on whenever I move out to LA and that kind of stuff, for voiceover work and stuff like that. But,
He's doing a lot of karaoke in the meantime, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I witnessed this live at the New Jersey Horror Con with your split personality.
That was the first time I ever did that live too. So it was because John Kassir, the Crypt Keeper, was hosting the.
Is that who that was? I kept saying, I'm like,
that
all
was
right.
John Kassir, and I was like, he's emceeing this thing. Okay, I'm gonna challenge myself and do this live.
Let it be.
Yeah,
And it happens.
let's see what happens here. If it works, it works. It doesn't. But let's go with it. Because I'm like, this guy. He's like John's a voiceover legend too. So I'm like, oh my god, if I can just look good in front of him.
Another great guy, by the way.
Oh, John's
couldn't
really
be
great.
nicer.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
just a really cool dude.
And you'd never heard "Let It Be" by the Beatles ever.
As I call it, let it W be. Yeah. So it's like, who knows who might see that one day and they might call me up. But that's why I try to make some little videos like that's why I have my Joker videos and stuff like that out.
I would have to say, what with you doing that was definitely second place because I think Richard Grieco still did.
Richard Grieco was that?
Richard Grieco.
Which time?
Yeah, really. Yeah, Richard Grieco. We missed you already. I remember like a week later, me and my friends were like, I miss Grieco. We should have took him home with us.
What was he like?
Really friendly. We'll call it that.
Yeah, very friendly. Very friendly.
He did a lot of karaoke. Probably the
karaoke.
most.
Really?
I think he was almost pushing people out of the way at one point and going.
I think he just needed to deal with some stuff. So I was like, dude, let the music work for you.
I think NJ Horicon should have him at every single one. He should be like a mandatory, but none of us go. Yeah. All the guests say no. We want Grieco every single time.
Last time I saw him, he was on one of those Lifetime movies or something.
Really?
Yeah. He
work
graduated
his
to that.
work.
I know it's working. No, don't get me wrong. Anyone would want to be there, but I wonder.
Yeah.
He seems like he appears odd to me. I don't even know. I get this impression he'd be an odd guy.
Yeah.
Did a lot of partying when he was young, I bet.
Very nice guy.
Yeah, very
nice guy, though. Yeah.
So no diva attitudes or anything from anybody?
No.
So,
Not from what I saw.
Not from
cool.
just from just all the cons I've been to, there really hasn't been any like diva attitudes I've seen from any of these celebrities, which I think is great. They're usually just really down to earth people.
What's the oddest thing that's happened to you? Because you get some good stories at these conventions. Anything really odd come up to you yet?
Not really odd, I would say, but I did have like one of those cool moments where I finally got to sign someone's body part and they had it tattooed on them.
Wow.
I signed their leg and she had my signature tattooed on her leg. I was like, that's awesome.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
how many people have seen? I mean, I followed it since you've been on the show and everything. I've acted completely normal, haven't I? For the past
So far, yeah. Sometimes I got to keep Adam in check. I'm like,
Where's the abnormal Adam?
I'm thinking about giving him an electric collar, and he gets offline. I'm like,
But I've been following it, the Wikipedia, all that kind of Rotten Tomatoes. It's been growing and growing. So I was actually jealous when you actually, and now I'm kind of happy because you haven't got the major stardom yet. At least you didn't take it. But
we don't want to lose them as guests, right?
well, Facebook Live, it would change everything if we had it. But anyway, so how many people do you think have watched this, had a piece of this Terrifier, watched it, seen it, gone to
Do you see the numbers? Because there any way you can tell?
Have not seen.
It is there is a phenomenon happening with this movie.
And toys are coming up, and
I mean, I will say the pizzeria scene on YouTube alone has 2.2 million views.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's pretty cool.
And it points to the
How
fragmented
do you think I got that footage?
but it points to the fragmented world. We still have movies, but this is in its own right is actually compelling and making a noise in the entertainment world. Maybe not seeing the money per se.
Right.
But it's gotten like
wide attention. I've been following ever since you've been on. And everything.
There've been people in like other countries where they've painted murals.
There's murals, in like 4 different countries now.
That's freaking awesome.
And I think it points to the fact the
one
acting.
in New York is the one by the Bowery.
Yeah. That was cool.
Spain, UK, and there's one other one.
Yeah. I was in where was I? I don't
I
know
know
where
Italy. They love us.
In Greece, there was stuff when I was in Greece this summer. There was stuff about Terrifier in Greece and everything, and Wikipedia and stuff. And I think I saw, So I mean, that's another reason. But what my point is, I mean, you guys did a great job.
Thank you, man.
The acting. I mean, how did you get the acting out of the actors? Do you like prod them? Do you?
No, honestly, like when directors say like casting, 90% of it's casting. Like I agree with that because I like to just in the room. If I'm like, all right, this person will do this character justice. Like I'll let them go. I feel like I don't really give a lot of notes to the actors about performance. Maybe just like a little louder, a little more intense, but very little. And it's more about just blocking the scene out and letting them go.
They were all
that's.
But did they watch any of the slasher films? Did they watch anything? Because they kind of embodied the characters I've seen in other slasher films.
They're all
the one was Nev Campbell. It was Nev Campbell.
Jenna Canelli, she gets the Nev Campbell comparison. She's
such an
incredible
person.
Yeah, she's incredible. Does her own stunts.
And And the TNA, I don't mean to be gratuitous, but there was like fun TNA. It's just, young girl, nubile women.
Well, we had to check all the
awkward-
boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But the whole thing worked. The
Yeah.
acting, and I guess you worked really hard for the props in the scene because that was a good job.
We worked our asses
yeah.
off. We're allowed to curse on this?
Yeah, you can
Sure,
say it.
public
We'll let it go.
It was on Facebook
If we're on
Live.
Facebook Live, we'd be in trouble.
No, it wouldn't be.
Oh, we got a 5-day suspension now.
Yeah.
There's your girl. Oh, she just went by. I think
the little girl?
Yeah,
Awesome.
the Terrifier
yeah.
girl. I think that was her.
I
that you were
never
talking-
caught her name either. It was just, I think I was just so like, oh my god, you're so cute.
Have you? He brought it up last time. It's dumb. The slasher code. Has anyone ever asked you direct about like how
All
could
the
you do that?
time.
They actually come
about
at
the gun?
Did they actually get? Did they get mad, or they just like, why are you doing?
No,
it?
they don't get mad. I haven't experienced that yet. But
Uh-huh.
it's
Excuse me. I get something to say.
we joked. Yeah, that was an ongoing joke that
Yeah.
we do all the time. We knew we'd piss off people a few times, but that was one. Why are you going to keep doing the same thing that you've seen over and over and
Right,
over?
damn.
So there's just little things I wanted to try and do and see, could I make the gun work? Could I put the gun in the hands of your classic type of slasher? Because if you think of Freddy and Jason, you can never picture a gun in their hands ever. I
Yeah.
mean, the only time it came close is I believe in Halloween 4. Michael Myers. There you go.
Yeah, you picked up the
uses it, but
uses
as
it.
a sword.
Yep.
But those
the
are-
impalement.
Yeah.
Those who don't know, the slasher code is what? Basically for those in Princeton.
So they
land.
say he breaks the slasher code by using
a gun, 'cause it's
using
never
a gun.
Right.
Instead of a knife or
Right.
a knife
Slashers
or whatever.
use
Right.
stabbing weapons.
Yeah,
Right.
more physical.
Right.
Smash
So,
anything
yeah.
but using a bullet.
Yeah.
Right, that'd be too easy and clean. It's
It
like
would. It
like
would.
when James Bond always gets to get away instead of shooting him like they did.
But that was the thing. So if I was going to let Art the Clown use it, he wasn't going to use it in an easy and clean way. He was still going to use it in typical Art the Clown fashion. So
Yeah.
he really lets her suffer as long as possible by shooting her in places that aren't going to kill her right away. And then when he's ready to put the nail in the coffin, then he just shoots her in the face like 5 times. So he just destroys her face. He's all about mutilation, facial mutilation.
No open casket funerals.
Right.
It's a
That's
serial
his
killer.
policy.
It's a
So
serial
he
killer
uses
profile.
it like a knife, where it's just repeatedly stabbing her.
So as far as the second one, I don't know how much you want to go for it, but do you have like other people in mind that like name characters from the horror movie world that you might see?
I don't actually, but we may. Especially, we're meeting a lot of people now at these conventions and making friends with them and everything. But I didn't go into it writing for a star or a name.
Gotcha.
Because we're trying to keep the budget realistic in
Yes.
mind. If we get a lot of money, that would be fantastic. I'll have no problem throwing names in there.
Well,
But
You're going to be shooting in New York again?
most likely, most likely.
Maybe someone local star thinking, oh, Boy
well,
George.
well, the good news is Damien can hire the guy from the Dark Military if he wanted to
There you go.
just like that.
I
and he'll be
just
happy.
watched your reel.
Did you? There you
We'll
go.
talk about it later.
All right. A few cold ones. We'll talk to
Well, just imagine if Bobby D. was walking down the street and you go, hey, hey, Bob, no one would expect this. Go in. Are people trying to invent backstories or the legend of the clown?
yeah.
Which you probably already
There's a lot
have
of
already in
theories.
your head, right?
Yes.
Oh, you already do? Oh,
I do.
you're going to start getting into the
There
explanation.
have been some
Perhaps.
creative ones out there too. They're fun to. I love seeing those. None of them are really true, but
Some of them touch upon things
they get close.
they're
Some
close.
have gotten
Some are
close. Some have gotten close.
Oh, you already have an idea of what the
Oh, yeah.
backstory
Oh, yeah.
is. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's like 2005. Yes, a million ideas.
I
Like, one of
know
the first
that. I
things
didn't
I
know.
asked when we were on set was like, "Oh, what's this guy's backstory?" Because I wanted just so I could know for myself. I don't know
But
if
here's the thing, which is because your mind the wheels never stop turning. So until we shoot that, if I
It
come
could
up with
be.
something
Yeah.
better or new,
Yeah.
I'm going to
Oh,
change.
at that-
the
that
whole-
moment?
You got right up the game.
So I'm constantly thinking, could I make it better? Could I make it so? We really, who's to say? It could be something different.
It's been
by the time
evolving since
yeah.
that first day on set where I was
Right.
like, "What's his deal?"
Because Freddy Krueger, I remember, I think it was his mother was trapped in a mental hospital over the weekend, and she was raped like 10,000 times.
That is correct.
And that made
Son
sense
of 100
to me.
fathers.
Yeah, son of a
Son of
100 father
100 maniacs.
maniacs, right? And it made perfect sense to
Yeah.
me. And the horror that I mean, even though it's fantasy, the horror being locked up in a mental hospital,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somehow
That's
they just
fantastic.
leave it
And
there. Yeah.
You said it, and his mother's a nun, which
Yeah.
A
makes
nun,
it
right.
all the more.
Yeah, it's twisted, diabolical, weird, and also horrible. Could you imagine if that actually happened to you? I mean, it's a fantasy, but you start thinking, yeah.
Well, that's how you set up a villain.
Yeah.
Has there been? I mean, I'm huge when I go to a convention. I always like to watch the Q&A. Like whoever's up there, I just think it's fascinating to hear it right from the directors and the cast. But there's always those few questions. Did you guys get those questions of like the most bizarre questions? Like, why on earth did they ask me this? Did you get any bombs? Any really out there questions?
That's
where
a good question.
We're looking at each other like,
Oh, what? Sometimes people don't put sentences together
they just
properly
don't.
either.
It's just so out of it. Like,
Not
right? Not off the top.
yet. I would say no. I still remember those. Like one time, it's like, remember that scene where you did this? I'm like, okay. That was their question.
It
Do you
would've been
remember
the
doing that scene? I'm like, yes, I
it
was
would have been
there.
better if he said, I don't remember that.
What?
Oh, I
I
like
did what? To her what?
the pregnant pause. So like and then you have to-
I think they just wanted to say something. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Yay.
What's been your favorite convention so far?
Oh God, I don't
That's
have a
tough,
favorite.
right?
That's
Oh,
really
no,
hard.
I got jealous about this too. You've been all over the country.
Yeah.
You've been feted like a celebrity all over
I
the country.
love it. It's so much fun.
You're like on tour.
It's great.
I mean, where have you been? St. Louis?
oh gosh, I've been.
You've definitely been to Jersey. We know that.
Yeah, Jersey. I've been in Atlanta, Charlotte,
Orlando.
down Texas, Orlando,
Phoenix.
Buffalo, New York, Jersey twice. It's
Been to Canada yet?
Yeah, gone to Canada. I went to
You'll be
Edmonton.
in Tennessee, Seattle,
Yeah, gonna
Gee,
be in
it
Canada.
keeps
again.
going.
So,
Wow.
yeah, gonna be
Germany.
in Germany this fall.
Canada. We're going to in the next week.
Is Terrence and Phillip going to be there?
For luck.
Wow, your passport's getting a nice, you know.
Yeah, it's
everything.
great. I love it. It's
Racking
just-
up those sky miles.
Yeah.
it's a great way just to meet people. Just both in the industry and just the fans as well.
Right.
I love it. It's just
And other artists and
Yeah,
everything.
right.
It's amazing. It's a great way to network.
oh, it really
Absolutely.
is. It really is. Really
Do
is.
people want to take you around and show them their town? You don't have enough time for that. For someone like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Probably
kinda
really
pretty
had time.
Sometimes. I mean, you got to do your virtual reality thing. and,
Yeah. When I was in Orlando, they had this thing. It's called Nomadic. It's like this virtual reality zombie shooter game. It's so cool. It's like the first of its kind. Where it's like
State of the
it's
art.
not like you're just seeing things. You can actually interact with things in the environment, like the doors.
in the physical world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like there's a scene where you're going in on a train, and you're going in to kill the zombies and stuff, but you can actually stick your head out of the train and you feel the wind blowing on you and stuff
wow.
like that. Or you have to cross like from one building to the next. There's only this wooden board to cross where you drop down, and I'm going and I step and I'm like, oh wow, there's actually a physical board here. Oh wow, and it's like wobbling. I'm like, oh shit.
Wow, cool.
Yeah, and just and the zombies. It was so much fun. I'm such a big geek and I love games and stuff like that. So they invited me out to come see this thing, and I was like, this is awesome. So it gets me excited knowing that's where this technology is going to lead to one day. It's like a holodeck experience.
Right.
So I'm just like, oh boy.
And you're kind of privy to it with your star kind of journey here.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Portal hole. Do you still have your girlfriend though?
Yeah, I'm seeing someone. Yeah.
That's why don't you? I would think you kind of put that on hold while you go around the world.
Only Adam. He goes right there.
I've been seeing someone recently, so we'll see how things go there.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
If you got married, would you wear the clown costume though?
She wants me to.
She had no choice.
Whatever she's into, It's like,
Dad, this is who I'm bringing home.
Gentlemen, this is where that dog collar comes in.
this is yeah.
Would I lend him the costume or put the makeup on for him?
Yeah.
That took a lot of time though.
But that takes time. How many hours is the average?
We've gotten it down to 2 hours for these convention photo ops,
Wow.
which is the fastest we've ever done. Sometimes it takes like 3 hours.
That was a cool experience doing that with Sid Haig in the room too, because he was
Wow.
getting his
Another
makeup
clown.
on for
While
Spalding.
Captain Spaulding was being made up.
Captain-
I have a feeling
Yeah.
yours is a little longer than his.
Yeah, but
He actually said when he was done, "I win." And
That's great.
So we have
see you at the circus, kid.
in 6 minutes. What else should we cover? We have about 6 more minutes. I was going to ask about The Godfather. You like Godfather 3? I just want to throw that in.
I do.
Oh, don't. You're going to make all the horror community
Okay,
upset.
sorry. But we're not on Facebook Live, so they're not watching right now.
First one's my favorite.
Yeah.
Second one, obviously, the second one's incredible. It's just as good. I have no
Yes.
problem. But I like the third one. I don't think it's as good as the first two, but there's great stuff in part 3. I don't want to hear it. Andy Garcia's fantastic. Pacino's unbelievable, and he does some great stuff in that movie. Some great stuff. There's a lot of good stuff in that movie.
I guess, I'd like to see him vulnerable. Is that the word, vulnerable? He was like grief-stricken
Very,
and vulnerable.
yeah.
and
I like that
everything.
aspect.
Oh.
It makes sense for the character.
It has moments.
The attacks, the scenes where he has those
With the
attacks.
helicopter? Oh, the attack. Oh.
Yeah, when his diabetic attacks and everything like that. That's incredible.
He lurches really well. Yeah, that was
Incredible.
bizarre how he lurches around and everything.
Oh, man. They pull me back in, and then he
They
has the
pull me
attack.
back,
That
right.
scene is unbelievable. Yeah.
But then the
Andy
scene.
Garcia is such a badass. He bites off Joe Montana's ear. That's-
Yeah, well, he's
Before
Jimmy.
Tyson.
Well, he's
Sonny's
son,
Yeah.
illegitimate son.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they had to get what's his name? They had to get the daughter to play the sister. I'm blanking because I'm tired. Coppola, Sophia Coppola.
Right.
Because what's her name? Winona
He
Ryder.
wanted, he wanted Winona Ryder.
Yeah, but she was too exhausted to do it. It was last second, so he just got her. And
Well, she
everything.
was very
Then he
hot.
got
She
her.
was a busy girl at that time.
But then he
Right.
got her for Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
Which is
a great
fantastic.
movie. Yeah,
Without a doubt.
Incredible movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is there other projects? Or are you kind of where you're
We're
focusing on Terrifier?
all living, breathing, sleeping Terrifier too. Right?
There you go.
So
Awesome.
hopefully we have some exciting news about it in the coming weeks. Actually, so
Yeah, I'm getting excited too.
Yeah, we're talking to a few people. Yeah. So we're any day we're hoping one of them pulls the trigger. So
Could I be a grip or a flunky on the set or something?
absolutely, you could be Abnormal Adam.
Abnormal.
No, listen, like, besides my part of the movie, you bring Adam in and Art puts a dog collar on him and you start, that's it.
Like you said, you got to start someplace. Saying,
Put him up his thighs, push into his balls. It's
I'll dress him up like a whole dog and just do that. So I can go to the fire hydrant and everything.
pretend we're in jail. Walk me like a dog. I'm gonna pack a cigarette.
You guys got this.
That's Beverly Hills
Well,
Chihuahua
yeah.
over here.
If you want to make it, you got to sacrifice. I can dig it. Well, in the final 3 minutes.
The final 3 minutes. I mean, is there anything you want to
Give
say
your-
to the fans, or just
And
how
again, the
how this whole ride
websites
has
and-
been?
Thank you.
Yeah, huge thank you,
Thank
huge
you.
thank you to the fans, and we're gonna do our best not to let them down with part 2.
Yeah.
And like I said before, always listen to what people are saying. It's very important because you're making it for them. So if you could improve upon something for sure. If you hear something enough, it's important. It's very important to listen to the fans.
Awesome. So if you guys want to plug your site or how to contact you or any conventions coming up, feel free to look in that camera and go for it right now.
All right, you want to go first? Want me to go first? I don't know. You're the director.
Yeah. Well, you can follow me primarily on Instagram, and that's at Damien_Leone, at Art the Clown on Facebook, and we're going to be at Shockstock in Canada, April 20. What is it? Next week.
Yeah,
We're in Canada. Is a big country. We're in
London.
Canada.
London.
Oh, London, Ontario.
Yes.
I've been there.
London,
I've been there.
Ontario.
I've been there.
With Terrence and Phillips. But God, don't lie.
Yeah. Terrence Hill.
Actually, I think I have my con schedule. I can find my con schedule. You keep talking. I'll find my con schedule real quick.
You can find David on Instagram at where are you, Dave? At David Howard Thornton.
Yes, I'm at David Howard Thornton on Instagram, David H. Thornton on Twitter, and
Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook David Howard Thornton as well. But it's probably easier to find me on like Instagram or Twitter because I haven't really exceeded my friend limits on there, which is especially Twitter. It's great because I can friend everybody. I love that.
And I want to thank you for coming a long way. I realize, no, but you come, and it's a long way. I hope
And I promise
be
next
worth it.
time you come back, I will have him in the dog collar.
All right, now we got my
Whatever
thanks
it
for having
takes.
us, man.
Got it.
Seriously.
No. Thank Lauren. Lauren's the
Our
guy
pleasure.
who got
Here
your
we
brain
go.
and
Got
stuff.
my
But
thanks,
you came a
buddy.
long way. I hope this could be seriously beneficial to you. You can use this for somehow.
Oh, of course, this
So
is
yes,
great.
I'm going to be at Shockstock up in London, Ontario from April 26th to the 28th. The next week, I'm going to be at Crypticon in Seattle, May 3rd through 5th. Then Pop Rock and Horror, May 31st through June 2nd. And Sinners... Words are hard. This is why art is silent. And SinisterCon, June 15th through 16th.
Where's that located?
That's going to be in Sacramento.
Wow, so you get to see
Yes.
the country again.
Yeah, and there's going to be several more going on this year, but this is what I have just through June alone. So.
Wow.
That's awesome.
He gets all the love. But
It's all because of you,
all 'cause of
Damien.
you.
It's all because of you.
Is this the
You're
part-
simple,
is
Jack. You
this
sound
the-
like
Now
simple
jump
Jack.
off a building and hate
Is this
myself.
the part you tell us the Terrifier 2 Art dies in the first 90 seconds of the film and you got a new character you're going to bring?
we'll see.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and I hope you come back. And I'll be in a dog collar, and maybe we'll be doing something. And this has been Breathing with Bierman. We'll be right back.
Share this video on YouTube.